think my favourite experience would be when I taught a class of year fives in a primary school. I did a workshop with them, and I really enjoyed that because it gave me a taste of teaching and teaching art to young children, which is what I want to do in the future.
My most memorable time of the course was going to Catalonia last year with Tony, Stuart and Will and Charles to do a collaboration project with the people in Catalonia and the Krakow trip as well to learn about different cultures and different artworks around the world.
My memorable experience was in first year when we met a fashion designer. She came to give us a session of how to deal with pattern, how to cut, sew, and final product. So I enjoyed that moment we spent because I like fashion. So it was one of my memorable time in the uni.
My most memorable experience from uni has been learning about the tinplate process, which is a Victorian film process which requires you to get a sheet of tin and then cover it in chemicals. And then you use the plate while it's wet, you load that into a large format camera, and then you can just take the image straight onto there, and then you develop it immediately, and then you can see the image turning from a negative to a positive, which is quite cool.
Recently on this course I've managed to collaborate with a lot of the makeup students, so I've been able to fill out my portfolio using that, and then from posting the photos that I've done with them it's attracted more customers in for more fashion photography or portraits.
Probably the most memorable would have been curating my own exhibition last year with the support of the tutors. It was so great to be able to practice that process and understand what it would be like in the real world.
Well, I think what the bits I've enjoyed most have been all the dissertation and research stuff. I've been really enjoying all the reading that I've done for it, and I got very excited to write about all the projects. The most recent one I did, which was on the one I did in second year, which was on the objectivity of beauty. I had a great time doing that and reading all of the philosophers for the research. And then the one I did this year on the reality of picture, which was all centered around Kendall Walton's thing. Yeah, that I really enjoyed. That was a great time.
So my end of year exhibition is a three-piece house, office and shed, called Revenge is Better Than Masturbation, and it's kind of telling the story behind people who live these perfect lives, and then on the inside you actually don't know what's going on, so it's kind of the background story towards that. So kind of looking at pop culture and celebrity lifestyle, like the Kim Kardashian family and all the other big celebrities, and inside you actually don't know what's going on behind the scenes, so it's kind of just a tongue-in-cheek way of getting that across, and something shocking, kind of a nod back to the censorship work that I did in the first year.
My final project is based around self-portraits depicting housewives in the 1950s. And I originally chose self-portraits due to the lack of models in lockdown. So during this, I've realised how difficult self-portraits are compared to photographing someone else, because it's mainly trial and error when you've got to set up self-timing or remote. And I chose the 1950s housewives because I wanted my character in my tableaus to show a powerful woman, but just because she's a housewife doesn't make her any less of a woman.
My final project is I decided to work with recycling material because I'm concerned about the climate change, the environmental impact. So I decided to use objects that otherwise can be waste, to reuse, give them a new life. So I decided to use in my work bottle, plastic, bottle lid, milk bottle to create figure that represent different people living the planet, like Asian, African, European, and different. For that, I want to make people aware of the use of what we waste. How can that be reused to create art or different kind of stuff? So yeah, my final project is the environmental impact. Yeah.
So my final project was a quilt that I made to express the maternalness in textiles. So it was to represent my nana originally. So I thought about adding text to it in photographs, but it just looked a bit too obvious. So I stripped it back and made a quilt that could actually be used as a quilt for a real purpose. And it's placed over a chair, a rocking chair, really nicely draped, just looking like it's been left there. Like a real scene, like an installation.
I'm doing a project it's a documentary project about sustainable food practices. So I'm looking at home growers, so people who have allotments, and also companies who try and reduce food waste to sort of help food poverty and stuff. So there's people like Rainbow Junction in Hyde Park, who are a pay-as-you-feel cafe, and Hyde Park Source, who renovate like really derelict areas and turn them into like community projects, so people in the local area can go and grow veg if they wouldn't otherwise had the opportunity to. I'm just trying to look at the positives of things that can be done to help the environment rather than focusing on the negatives.
For my final project, I've created a series of work looking at advertising photography. I've worked with a local seamstress to create different images, some on location, some in the studio, which could be used to advertise her product. I've really enjoyed looking at colour theory and working with different equipment and in new environments and trying to push myself to do something new.
So the final project I'm doing this year is I've actually started at the beginning of second year, and it's been evolving and building. It started from the idea of my second year essay, which was about the objectivity of beauty, and then I started thinking about how a photograph can be beautiful when the object it's photographed of is not necessarily beautiful. And so the kind of aesthetic qualities that go into that. And then I wanted to see if you could transform, an object into something completely different. And through that create something new and something that's beautiful in itself, and none of the beauty of the photograph coming from the object. And so I started working with bodies and transforming them into landscapes, and it's now evolved even beyond that. And I started using other types of subjects, like I tried it with lots of rocks instead, and now I've been trying it again with bodies, but in a very different way, where I'm not necessarily alluding even to landscapes themselves, and they've become completely abstracted images.
I think my final piece is sort of the accumulation of my exploration of the proverb, "A wise woman buildeth her house, but the foolish tears it down with her own hands," and the idea that women who go against traditional norms are burning the house down. I really enjoy working with wood and paint and collage as well, so it was just sort of bringing all of those practices together into one piece.
After I finish this course, I'm going on to do a PGCE, so I can get my licence in teaching. And then after that, I'm going to do my masters, so then I'm able to teach photography at a higher level.
After university, I'm looking forward to hopefully working with more brands and small companies to help them produce content for their website and social media and help them to develop their brands. And I'm hoping to use lots of things that I've learned on the course to do that.
Well, I'd like to continue quite a few of the projects that I've started here. There's been quite a few projects over the 2 years that I've wanted to carry on. I plan on keep on working on my final project and building that up to potentially publish that as a book, which would be a collection with like an essay section with a photo book section as well. And I'm also going to be looking to do my masters at some point. Decided to take a year out before doing that, but I'll be looking to do a masters then, and then using this to start teaching.
I'm doing a PGC in September, 3 to 7 one, so working with young children in primary schools. So hopefully this time next year I'll be get in a class, which is really exciting, and I'll be a teacher.
I would like to continue to the MA Master. My plan for the future is to be a great artist known around the world and leave like a footprint in what I'm doing. Like people, when they see in the future, even if I go, and they will still remember me in of what I've been done and what impact in people's life. Is what I want to achieve. Yeah.
I'd like to thank my tutors Sarah and Amy, and my art technician Jamie as well, for being really supportive through the whole 3 years. And it's just really felt like a family, and it's been really amazing.
So I want to thank Sarah for getting us through college as well, the past 5 years. Amy, Tom, Jamie and Georgina as well for being by my side and getting me through the past 3 years, especially this year when I've been stressed phoning her. But yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Sarah, because I've had her since college, so I've had her for 5 years, which will be really weird now not having her, because she's been like an extra mum. And then Jack as well, because I've been with him since college now, my best friend, who I've made through the course. So yeah, I'm going to miss them both when it's done, but I think I'll stay in touch with them both, definitely.